Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As you can see, you have both of us here today from Congregation Beth Adam to help you celebrate Shabbat and to help us begin our Shabbat. So Rabbi Barr and I, Rabbi Lauren Werber, are happy to be here as we celebrate together. As you have probably noticed, most of our country, at least, is celebrating Valentine's Day today.
Wow. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
So we're celebrating love, and we're celebrating all those other good feelings that go with love that also go very well with Shabbat. Feelings of contentment, of peace, of rejuvenation, of what else? Friendship, all good things.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that tonight's Shabbat service, in a world that's swirling with all kinds of other things, can bring some of those emotions to us as we celebrate together. We begin with one of our Beth Adam reflections.
Let the Sabbath be a time for believing in what could be and seeing with new eyes. In this serious world, let us take ourselves less seriously. In these harsh times, let us listen for a soothing word. While the world around us unfolds in an instant, let us judge each other a little more slowly. Let the Sabbath shine a light into a corner of ourselves where hope is renewed. Let us remember a reason to be joyful, a way to be gentle. Let the Sabbath be a time for opening up. Let us find strength in our dreams, trust in our strength.
May we celebrate all of these good things. How good is this day? Ma yafe hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafe hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
On Shabbat, we light the candles.
Candles bring forth light, illuminating the darkness. Candles offer us warmth, providing comfort. Candles awaken us as we reach for possibilities. Candles provide the soft glow that opens a space for peacefulness, thoughtfulness, and love.
As we light these candles, let us use their light to stretch beyond ourselves, touching others, bettering our world.
Baruch ha'or ba'olam. Blessed is the light within the world. Baruch ha'or ba'adam. Blessed is the light within each person.
Baruch ha'or b'Shabbat.
Blessed is the light of Shabbat.
May we discover the ability to feel the pain of others, work for others, among others, and there come to feel a part of that to which I belong.
May we discover the ability to be alone so that we can go out of doors each day among the flowers and trees, among the birds and all that live, beneath the sky of stars and planets, and there come to feel a part of that to which we belong.
May we discover the ability to sit in silence so that we may hear hear not the voices of others, but our own voice, the beat of our hearts, the sound of our breath, the utterance of our soul, and here come to feel a part of that which we belong.
And may we discover the ability to slow down, to appreciate, to reflect and rejuvenate, to welcome the serenity and love that Shabbat offers, and here come to feel a part of that to which we belong. On this Shabbat, let there be love and understanding among us.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
We get to chat a little bit.
Get to chat a little bit. We do. It's on this Valentine's Day. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about Valentine's Day, and then it's this weekend. There is another holiday that we bump into, President's Day here in the United States. So Valentine's Day, I walk through the aisles of our local market, and here we're in Cincinnati, so typically Kroger's, right? That's our big chain. If you're in other parts of the country, there are others, but Kroger is the dominant. It's across, and there's like a whole aisle of candy. And cards to buy. Lots of candy, lots of cards. And Valentine's Day has become this enormous American holiday. I think it's probably a worldwide holiday at this point.
Yeah, true. The holiday for me, as you're talking about this, I think we don't do much with Valentine's Day. We do a whole lot, my husband and I, we do a whole lot with day after Valentine's Day when the candy's on stock. So I think that should be the holidays, day after Valentine's Day.
Days, and what do you buy?
Whatever there is. No, the Cadbury stuff if we can, anything chocolate, just stuff.
Just stuff. But it's interesting, it's and the reason it's a holiday of romance, a holiday of love. It's also a holiday that as a kid, and I think it's still going on even when my kids were growing up, we would buy these packets of Valentine's cards and the kids would pass them amongst each other.
Yeah,
right.
I remember that for sure.
Right, they make a little box. So Valentine's Day, and a lot of people have really gotten into it. The color red, you see it all over, and it's grown as a holiday. It's a holiday that there are certain folks say, well, it's a religious holiday. We shouldn't celebrate it. There are some folks within sort of the right of the Jewish community that say you shouldn't violate it.
Saint
Valentine's Day, but most people don't see it that way. It's a holiday that's joyful. know as a fact. I looked. You can't get a reservation for dinner most anywhere tonight. If you're watching Shabbat, you can't. It's hard to find dinner reservations. People go out. It's become this really sort of popular holiday. And it's interesting to me how holidays morph and change, because I don't remember it being nearly as big a holiday when I was growing up as it's become. I mean, and perhaps it's part of the industry of candy and cards and romance and flowers that's been more important. But it speaks to holidays morph and change over time. They don't stay the same. And we just select how we celebrate them. So you guys, you and Brian, is that such a big holiday? Now, how about President's Day? 2 days later, is that like your big holiday?
That's our big holiday. President's Day we ignore pretty much as well, right? And yet, what was interesting is, as I thought about what we talk about, I thought neither one of these are big in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Valentine's Day, with this stepping back for a second, the whole card thing in school, finding something nice to say to everyone in your class.
Right? It could be hard.
It could be hard. It could be really hard. Feeling love, appreciating civility and relationships. It's something we should consider. What pieces of this, forget that it's overdone on the candy and the red and the pink. What pieces of this matter to us? And is it something that we should do or could do more of in focusing on those pieces for society? And then President's Day, never thought much about, but as we're thinking more and more politically these days, thinking about what that could represent for us as well, and whether or not there's meaning in that is interesting.
Right. And what's fascinating, so Friday night, Shabbat, Valentine's Day, and I think probably Valentine's Day has become a little bit bigger because it's on a Friday night. It's a date night anyway. Night people go out to dinner. President's Day is on Monday. Our government closes down. We have, as a country, said this day is really important. It used to be Washington's birthday, and when I was growing up, we had Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday, and then they got.
When I was growing up, it was 4 of them that got mentioned, but I can't tell you what for.
Okay, Jefferson usually too.
And now, as I looked it up, it's just the president.
It's the presidents, and it's interesting that as they're sort of juxtaposed to each other, that while Valentine's Day may not be as it's a personal holiday, President's Day really has an effect. People aren't going to school. Federal employees aren't working. People will get their mail delivered. And oftentimes what people remember on President's Day is what President's Day sales are there. I don't remember. There's certain products that get sold on certain holidays, like mattresses. I can't remember, like this Labor Day or President's Day or one of these holidays. They're sold, and it strikes me as interesting what holidays we focus on, what holidays we ignore, what holidays just are there, because there's so many. They're civic holidays, President's Day, 4th of July. Valentine's Day is what is it? Is it a religious holiday, a cultural holiday? It's not a Jewish holiday.
I'd go with civic at this point. Well, not official, not right.
Not official.
But,
not official.
St. Patrick's Day in there, right?
Right. And kids can do that. And so I think about a calendar of holidays, and even Jewish holidays. Which Jewish holidays do we pay attention to? Which holidays do we choose to say, they don't speak to us anymore? And are there holidays that maybe should be reinvested with energy? President's Day. I mean, we're having, certainly in America, we had a contentious election. We're having contentious times. And perhaps the conversation about what President's Day means and what presidents have done and what presidents should do needs to be front and center, rather than, this is the day there's going to be some really good sales and all of our offices are closed. A different approach to the holiday and a different thought process behind it. I mean, you think about, we have days on our civic calendar, President's Day, we have Labor Day, we have Memorial Day, we remember the past, we think about those who died or sacrificed themselves for fighting and defending our country. Maybe we need to bring some of those values in. When you talk about trying to elevate the issue of love and respect for Valentine's Day, maybe around some of our civic holidays, we need to start talking about what does it mean to have civic holidays and what are the values we really should be talking about.
And then is that one we want for ourselves personally after that, right? After that thought process. So if you listed several, but if we think about Memorial Day, what are we remembering and how do we mark that, right? Then we have Veterans Day as a separate day. Is that something that resonates as we think about what it means? Thanksgiving is a great example in that maybe one of our most important in that it's one of the few holidays that just about everyone celebrates. So as a nation, it brings us together in a way that not that many do. And yet it has a problematic story that's really a myth behind it. And how do you retell that story and what's the message that is most important in Thanksgiving? So I think it's very much the same process we take with Jewish holidays, right? But we haven't really applied, I haven't applied that same thought process and commitment to our civic holidays.
Right. And I think that I don't want it to go on to slip under the radar. You're talking about the myths of holidays. I mean, holidays are created for all kinds of reasons. You know, you can do a whole study of how Valentine's Day came into existence. And does it really matter? It's what we want to do with it. And the problem is, and when I say we, is what do you want to do with it? Those who are sharing Shabbat with us, how do you want to make Valentine's Day something significant in your life or not significant in your life? And how do you want to reshape it? Is it reaching out to people? And then additionally, you know, President's Day, you can go and read about it, you can Google it, read about how it came into existence and you know, how it focused originally on Washington, on Lincoln. And what do you think it should mean this year? What should we be talking about in a year where the political feel is so intense and there's anger on one side, there's apparently joy on the other side. I mean, there's all kinds of feelings. What is the role of our presidents and how do they shape our lives? And what should we be talking about in a civic way, about the civics of this? Our country was an amazing experiment. We did something that nobody did. We created a country that said the people pick their leadership. That was incredibly bold. That was our country came into existence when there were monarchies. And we said, no, this is a country of the people. We the people. Should we be talking about that? And should this President's Day be focusing on civics? Because I think there are a lot of folks who forget how our country came into being, why our country exists, and the structure of it.
Absolutely. And also, and you touch on this, our role in that, right? So part of what we did that was so bold is we limited the presidency, right? So what's our relationship to the presidency and to the presidents and to this country? What are both our rights and our obligations? And how do we parse how we relate now? Right. As part of that reflection. What are our values in that relationship? Yeah, because there's a responsibility. I find it, recently, in our memory, we saw King Charles being crowned as king, right? He was part of a process that's been going on for centuries where there's monarchy, it's inherited, there's the people don't have a choice in it. It's just simply if you're born to the right family. And here in America, we created a country that said, we the people decide. We're going to limit the presidency, and George Washington intentionally stepped down. I mean, he was a popular president, but he didn't want to create another monarchy. He rejected that notion of what the president should be. And we have debated about the role the presidents have overreached, and people have debated, have the executive branch become too powerful? And right now, this is a conversation about what's our responsibility? What does it mean? How do we participate? How do we continue to participate, and what do we want it to look like? And we're going to all pause in a couple of days here, those of us in the States, and I'm curious what the dinner conversations are going to be that night.
It's
And whether we take advantage of that day, those conversations.
other than going shopping. I don't know what, I'm still not sure what, but are we going to take,
Which is okay too.
it's okay, shopping's fine.
Adding a bit,
But
it is a good question. But I also think, or in addition, that same reasoning applies to our Jewish holidays and thinking about what overlays do we place on them and also what aspect of them do we focus on at a given time. So we just celebrated Tu B'Shvat, right? The birthday of the tree, sort of an Earth Day. What are the pieces of that are most important to us now to elevate? We're coming up on Purim, which is this holiday. We'll learn more about it as it comes.
Sure.
But crazy story of oppression of the Jewish people, and then a gory bit in the middle, and then ultimately a celebration of our survival. But it has elements that are pretty serious and dark, but also informative for times when we face anti-Semitism, when we face people who are not wishing to understand and only want to annihilate. So what pieces of Purim become meaningful and uplifted this year as opposed to last year or next year? And if we do that with each of our holidays, we enrich our experience, and we're also free to say, this one doesn't resonate so much.
Right, because we don't have to celebrate everyone every year.
Right? I can still skip Valentine's Day if I want, right?
Yeah.
Or any other holiday.
Right.
But finding what most resonates and what we're sort of what the holiday is calling out to us to think about and act about.
Right, and I absolutely, I think that's one of the opportunities holidays present when we take them seriously. And taking them seriously also means, this year I'm just not interested in, because the other reality, there are so many holidays, right? There's a lot of holidays. If you include the civic holidays, the governmental holidays, the religious holidays of our friends, right? So we just spent some time in Southeast Asia. It's the Lunar New Year. Was it much? We really it was exciting to see a whole column there. That was exciting to see that experience and to participate in that. So there are holidays that maybe aren't holidays that we grew up with, but they're holidays at Diwali, celebrations that I've been to with other friends. So there's a lot of them, and how do we peek into them, understand their evolution, and then decide what values they hold, or what stories they hold, or what lessons they might hold that might be relevant. And it might be that different years, different things are relevant, that it's not always the same.
Right. It's not the holiday changing, it's us changing.
It's us.
And the world around us changing.
Right. And then we can modify the holidays. I mean, the holidays take on different patina as different things happen. I've talked to friends about different ways. Certainly in Israel, certain holidays have morphed because of being in Israel. Hanukkah being one that comes to mind.
Absolutely. Because of time, I have two questions, but
Okay.
I'm going to ask both, and you can answer either one.
Ooh,
It's nice of me, isn't
that's
it?
very nice.
I either want to
Me?
talk about
Me?
you, and I'll answer them too if I have an answer. One is thinking about the Jewish holidays and what is resonating now as this is the holiday I could grab onto this year, right? And the other is what's missing from our cycle, right? If you were creating something, what would it be? That's the two.
Those are two challenging ones. I mean, I think those are really challenging, because I think one, I can give the sort of the rabbi answer, Shabbat, right?
Wow, I wasn't even there.
Right. Shabbat. I do think, and I don't mean to sort of be glib about it, is, rabbis talk about Shabbat, most important Jewish holiday, there's all, but I do think there is, and to me, Shabbat is not a 24-hour period. I do think pausing and reflecting is valuable. I don't know that we're doing that enough. We live in a crazy time. I mean, not just this year. I mean, life has gotten faster and faster and faster, and attention spans have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter. So I do think there is value in pausing. That's why I like Yom Kippur more than I like Rosh Hashanah. It pause, to slow down, to reflect, to think about where we're going. I think there's great value in that. I think Yom Kippur could be tweaked and be changed. And we talked a little bit about that. Unfortunately, you had COVID this year, but part of what I talked about was not just thinking about what we did wrong, but what we did right. I think there's an element of too much that beating ourselves up. I think there is times to think about what we've done well, and that should be part of it. So I mean, those are ideas, but I think one of the problems with holidays, oftentimes, particularly Jewish holidays or religious holidays, they get so ritualized and institutionalized. It was like, this is how you have to do it. If everybody said, this is how you have to do Thanksgiving, you have to go out. Not Thanksgiving. This is how you do Valentine's Day. I'm sorry. This is how you have to do Valentine's Day. You have to buy one card. You got to buy a heart-shaped box of candy. You have to eat 3 of the chocolates. And you have to do it in this order. It would take the joy out of it. I think that's my fear with holidays, is when people make them a requirement and rituals requirements versus more reflective of what we're feeling in a given day or a given year.
It's a really important point. And the rituals, I think, if we think of them as invitations, as opposed to commanded obligations,
That's
right?
a very different way to look at them.
So Yom Kippur, if we stay there, fasting invites us to contemplate things we don't contemplate when we're not fasting. And if we're choosing that, first of all, that path to contemplation, good for us,
right?
Fine. And if we want to contemplate those things, great, then fasting makes a lot of sense. Right. We're not dismissing it immediately, but there's nothing about fasting except tradition that makes it the way we find those things. So it's an invitation to enter a certain ritual. And we do once that becomes the only way, we create something so narrow that anyone not feeling it right there at that moment isn't part of the experience.
Not part of it. And I have to say, doing something because it's required, I actually think takes a lot out of it. It becomes less meaningful. If I have to do it, then I have no investment in it. When it's an invitation and it's a choice, then I decide if it's going to be meaningful to me. Versus you have to do this. You're required to eat 3 chocolates before this evening is out. And if you don't do it, you've not fulfilled your obligation. That takes the fun out of eating chocolate. That
helps me not eat chocolate. I'm going to start thinking of it that way.
Right. And the same thing. If it's an invitation, and the same thing with with fasting. If you have to fast, you have no choice. Don't think about it. You're required to. It takes something away from you as the individual to contemplate. Maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe it's that idea of not eating or changing what you've done that day, or eating, then it becomes a dialogue with the past, a dialogue with the concept that we then invest in. I think it's an interesting way to change the conversation like that.
Well, I love what you said so much that I don't want to say anything else. So I'm not going to answer the question because that was fabulous. And we'll end there for now and encourage everybody to think about how you want to celebrate today, how you want to celebrate Monday, and how you want to celebrate each of the other holidays in our calendar. For the Jewish ones, I hope you choose to celebrate them with us. But again, it's an invitation. So we hope you'll do so. We're going to turn now to remembrance, remembering the love of those who nurtured us through our lives and offering thanks that they were present in our lives. These are words of Hannah Senesh. There are stars. It was originally written in the Hebrew, so we'll do just a little bit of Hebrew. Yesh kochavim she'oram magia arza rak kasher hem atzmam avdu ve'enam. There are stars whose light reaches the earth only after they themselves have disintegrated and are no more. And there are people whose memory lights the world long after they have passed from it. These lights, which shine in the darkest night, are those which illumine the path for us.
Ein b'dei ha'mavet ha'koach la'akor ma she'tumen b'lev. Death cannot take that which is locked in our hearts. With our tears and our sorrow, we remember.
With our courage and our strength, we do not forget. Acts of kindness, deeds of courage will remain.
Beauty created,
Wisdom shared is not lost.
With our tears and our sorrow, we remember. Im dama'ot be'einenu, be'et evlenu, yishmor al zecher achuvenu. With our tears and our sorrow, we remember. Zeker tzadik livracha. May the memory of good people bless our days.
Our symbol of joy.
Life is a wondrous gift. The mind observes with awe and appreciation flows from the heart. Life's joyful bounties are unveiled. Such treasures abound in ordinary moments. A familiar face, the simplicity of a smile, tender kisses, the warmth and security of a hug.
Enchanting melodies, the grace of dance, the coolness of sculpted marble, a remarkable story. The complexity of atomic structure, thunder's reverberation, the shimmering of the rainbow, intoxicating rose petals. These moments become opportunities to affirm that which is good.
As we lift our cup, a tribute to life's enchantments, may we find joy, contentment, and love in our human endeavors.
Bruchim hachayim ba'olam. Blessed is the life within the world. Bruchim hachayim ba'adam. Blessed is the life within us.
We say l'chaim, to life.
And before our final words, we take another break for a little bit of song with thanks to Brian.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom.
May we know blessings those who are near. May we know blessings those who are far. May the Sabbath bring its goodness to everyone soon, wherever they are.
May we know blessings through the day. May we know blessings through the night. May health be for our children and for all people, and may all things soon be right.
May we know blessings in our comings. May we know blessings when we depart. May we live each day with peace and wisdom and love in each heart. We wish you a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And to you too.